You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, my name is Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're going to be talking about being courageous in life. You know when you feel like you're meant to do something and you might be a little scared to do it, but you just kind of have to go for it. You have to believe in your core that anything is possible. And that's what we want to focus on today. So you want to think about where in your life do you want to be more courageous? Maybe that is in the realm of dating or strengthening relationships, or maybe it's in your career, taking on hobbies that you have kind of held off because you weren't sure if you'd be good at it. This is the day I want you to ante up, be courageous, and go after something new that you've been thinking about but yet haven't done it. And we're going to be joined in our next segment by our inspirational guest, Justin Willoughby. Now, his story is really eye-opening for so many of us because we all might want to lose 20 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever. At 16 years old, he came in weighing 799 pounds, but he lost it all naturally. No surgery, no medication. So we want to hear, how did he do that? So I want to make sure that over the course of the show, you are supported in how you can be more courageous in life. So reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com if you need any resources on today's topic. Also, if you have an inspirational story, you've overcome a tragedy, a crisis, maybe you have a disability and you manage that, we'd love to hear from you and perhaps have you on as an inspirational guest. You can reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, how can we help you today?
Okay, I am struggling a little bit because my daughter will be applying for colleges this summer. And after this college scandal, I feel like it's even going to be more challenging for her to get into the school that's the right fit for her. And I just don't know how to transfer my anxiety and stress that I'm feeling for her. I don't know how to keep from transferring that onto my daughter.
Well, so what you always want to think about is the best case scenario is she has her ideal school, she gets that acceptance letter, and she's off and running, right? That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
But then you got to think about the worst case scenario. She gets into no schools, none of them, right? That would be the worst case scenario. And the likelihood of the worst case scenario happening is very little, but you have to acknowledge both avenues. What she wants to know from you is, hey, Mom, you got my back, that you won't be disappointed. Because part of anything we go after in life, like let's say we try to go after a career promotion or a dream that we're trying to follow. If it doesn't work out, then we feel like we let other people down. And she might feel like, gosh, if I don't get into this school, my mom's going to be so disappointed, or, they're going to be worried that I'm going to amount to nothing. We always go to the worst case scenario, right? So number one, you have to just say to her, however this goes, I'm going to love you through the process. And, let's really put all of our positive energy into you getting that acceptance letter from where you want to be. But if the worst case scenario should happen, then you know what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to make sure that you stay learning and growing, and at a community college or whatever, we're going to figure out what it is that you need to have in place, why you didn't get accepted. And then so you're a semester behind. But she's going to look for you to give her those cues that however it goes, it's going to be okay. Now, I realize that's a lot of pressure on you. And, that's why parents make the big bucks, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But that is your role. You just want to be that steady compass for her And I do believe it'll work out. And I know the college scandal that recently happened and just the amount of people who are applying for the same majors and then they graduate and all the tens of thousands of people that all have a psychology degree or a business degree, right? It can be very overwhelming. But you and her are going to have to trust that she's done her best up to this point. And that's all you can ever do is your best. So if the worst case scenario happens, you guys will ante up, you'll rally, you'll figure it out, and she'll still get educated. It just might be at a community college, and then she reapplies. Okay? I hope that helps you. And a really great question. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Have a great day. I really appreciate that she asked that question because it is hard sometimes to be courageous in life when there's so many uncertainties. And gosh, we can put our best efforts out there, but we can still be told no, and then no again, and then no again. But there is eventually going to be that yes, and you have to stay the course and be arms wide open, ready to go when that yes comes. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling in. What's going on?
So I'm about to graduate. I graduate in less than a month. And I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all like the assignments and like the pressure of finding a job. So I just wanted to know how I can stay motivated to like get through this month and just like start applying to jobs without feeling like that pressure.
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming, right? Well, what I want you to think about, or I want to give you 3 things to think about, okay? Number 1, you want to hone in on what makes you special or unique in this work environment. Okay, we call it a USP. What is your unique selling proposition? So, for example, what is your major? What is your degree?
Psychology.
Okay, and there's probably a couple people getting psychology degrees, right? Just a couple.
Yeah.
So, but there's only one you. So you want to take assessment, and it might be that you email a certain group of friends or ask them 3 questions. One could be, what do you admire about me in terms of being a leader? Another question might be, what do you think are my top 3 greatest strengths, skills? Okay. And maybe another question might be, if you were going to talk about me professionally to somebody, what would you say? And when you email about 5 or 6 people and they get back to you with their answers, it's really eye-opening how people see you. And it's actually going to be really inspiring because you're going to be like, oh, that's nice. Oh, and that's nice, right? How motivating is that? Okay, so first of all, you want to take assessment of how you stand out amongst all the other people with your psychology degree. Secondly, you want to go on LinkedIn or even do some networking functions where you can start to meet people that have your same degree and find out, to get the job that they have, what internships, what additional certifications did they need, so that you don't have to pioneer your own path. You can kind of learn from them. Okay? And then lastly, the third thing is you just have to find a way to balance the stresses with the wins. Okay? Because this is an exciting time. You're graduating, right? Woohoo!
Yeah.
Right? And although it's a stressful time, it's also a time where you want to take a snapshot of this moment, because 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the stresses will always be there. It's just a different stress. Okay? So you just have to tell those anxieties in your mind, listen, don't take away this moment from me. Don't let me get overwhelmed. Okay? But if you do all that, you will be well on your way to success. You just have to continue to believe in yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much for the advice.
You got it. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too, Nancy. Bye.
Bye. So great, actually, that she ask that question because the overwhelm of life can sometimes just make us feel so burdened and so heavy. Like, we want to be a balloon. You want to be that beautiful balloon that when we set you free, you go up into the sky to high limits, places you didn't even think you could go. But you have to set yourself free. But always remember, you are that balloon, but you have to be courageous to get through the hard times to get to happiness. Now, when we come back, we're going to be joined by our inspirational guest, Justin Willoughby. Again, he weighed in at 799 pounds. And he lost about 600 of that naturally. How did he do that? That is so courageous the way he went about it. So stay tuned for his story. Remember, today we are talking about being courageous. So think about in your life, where could you up the ante? We'll be right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those
5
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about being courageous in life, just going for it, leaving behind all the regrets, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? Let's push that aside and really step into having the life that we desire. Now, we are bringing you an inspirational guest today who did just that. I mean, it would have been so easy for him to just give up. At 16 years old, he weighed 799 pounds. I mean, the gravity of that, just needing to lose even 20 of that 799 must have been, just a big mountain to climb. But I want him to share his story with you because it's not so much about losing weight. It's really stepping into claiming the life that we want to have. And sometimes we have to lose the weight to do so. We might need to enroll support of others to help motivate us and guide us along. So I'd like to welcome Justin Willoughby to the show.
Hey, Nancy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Justin, your story is so amazing. But, as a child, you were overweight, 200 pounds when you were really young, and then it was 400 pounds, and then it was 700 pounds. But for the most part, in your family, you were accepted, you were loved, and food was a part of your everyday routine. But when did you identify that it was more of like an addiction to food than, just, a love?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Later on, I was probably 14 is when I finally recognized that I had a food addiction. But looking back, and I would look at, when I walked by vending machines, I would look and fantasize about the foods I was going to be getting later. I would pout and throw temper tantrums, and my parents didn't have dinner ready on time. So I recognized it at 14 years old, but I if I'm looking back, I've had it for a long, long time.
When anybody is overweight, and, you were significantly, we feel our clothes are tighter. We feel the rolls on our back or on our arms or this or that. Did you just ignore that, package it away? Or, when you were by yourself growing up, as a child up to age 14, how did you manage that frustration, that sadness?
I kind of numbed it. I mean, obviously you feel your clothes getting tighter. You feel that it's harder to move and things just aren't the same and aren't as easy as if you were thinner or having less weight. But I kind of just hid it away. I mean, I kind of ignored it. I just pretended it wasn't there, and I would just go on eating because food actually helped me look past that because it brought that momentary pleasure to my life. But at the end, it left me low, but then I needed more to feel like everything was okay. So that addiction really just damaged my life, and I just ignored the way my clothes felt, the way it felt to move around. I tried not to think about it.
Well, I wouldn't go back and be 14 again for the life. Because 14 is those are some hard years, 14 and 15. But on top of being overweight, you had a lot of anxiety socially. And was that also attributed to your weight in terms of just the physical pains that you were feeling?
I'm sure some of it was. Some of it stemmed from that, of course. A lot of it as well was my fear of dying as another issue that I had. And so it stemmed back from that. And it also stemmed back from my parents arguing constantly when I was younger. It stuck with me. And I believe all those together really impacted the development of my anxiety and panic attack disorder and depression, and just kind of robbed my life in that situation.
And you even chose to be homeschooled. You decided to take yourself out of the social environment. But did that help you and enhance your journey, or did you feel like you started to slip even further when you were homeschooled?
It helped out in some ways because I didn't have to feel embarrassed about being overweight or getting picked on by classmates and all that. But another way, it kind of made things worse because now I'm homeschooled. Now I'm not even facing issues anymore. Now I'm not facing the struggle that I had. So I'm hiding away in a trailer where I live with my parents, and now I have nobody around me. I can accept this. It's great. But then when I hit the real world again, then what? So it helped, but yet it didn't. It kind of enabled as well.
And did your family, as you were starting to gain this weight, and as you were going up the scale, did anybody pull you aside and say, okay, it looks like you're gaining too much weight?
Yeah, my mom actually at one point, she said, honey, we got to do something about your weight because you're getting big. And I was really hurt that she said that. But I know she was doing that for my own good. But at that point, I didn't see it because I'm a kid and I know everything, But yeah, that was somebody that spoke into my life. And I had some people say things, but it wasn't this hitting home thing for me. It was just kind of a casual thing, if you will. And so I had some people say it, but I just kind of ignored it.
Now, the epic day came when you did discover that you were 799 pounds. How when you learned of that, how did that sink in? I mean, did you think that you were that weight?
No, I didn't realize how big I was. It's amazing what a food addiction can do, and anxiety and not moving can do to somebody's life. And so I didn't realize it. I didn't feel it. I mean, I knew I was big, but I knew I was that big. And when my parents, I remember it like yesterday, they were sitting at the bottom of my hospital bed that I was in, and they looked, and my mom looked at my dad, and my mom looked at my head, and she said, honey, do you know how much you weigh? And I said, no, I don't. And she said, you weigh 799 pounds. And right there, reality sunk into my life. I'm like, holy cow, I'm really at that weight? It's eye-opening for sure.
I mean, at that point, I would be just like, how would I ever lose that weight? How would I ever? I mean, that's so significant. Did you feel defeated, like, that's it, I give up?
Absolutely. At first, yes, I did. I mean, it felt like, wow, how am I going to, like you said, how am I going to do this? That's a big obstacle to overcome. And this is where my faith came into perspective. I truly gave my heart to Jesus. And because at first, I didn't feel valued, loved, or accepted. I mean, my parents loved me, my family loved me, but in my body, I felt like I was just kind of wasting space. I'm this big guy. All I do is eat, this and that. And it's like, wow, now I can be different because Jesus changed my life, and that motivated me to change.
You know what? And sometimes it's Jesus, sometimes it's a friend or a family member, or just could be a YouTube video that changes our life. But I love that you mentioned that. So, Justin, stay with us. We're going to take a commercial break and come back and share more of your story. And for everybody, again, we're talking about being courageous in life. I mean, he had to be super courageous to even think about losing weight after 799 pounds was discovered. So stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know. wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow, right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being courageous in life. And our inspirational guest is a great example of just that. Justin Willoughby, at age 16, weighed 799 pounds. He had every reason in the world to just throw his hands in the air and say, I give up. But he courageously took just one step forward every day to lose the weight. So I'd like to welcome Justin back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
So, Justin, the thing that is really amazing about your story is, you didn't go get surgery to lose the weight. You didn't take a ton of medication. How did you do it?
Yes, that's a really good question, too. I did not get the surgery done because I didn't need it done because I was doing so well without it. So what I ended up doing was just, number one, the biggest thing was just getting my diet under control. That's the hugest thing. It was just starting eating more natural foods, less of it, and not a whole abundance of it. And also moving more. It's pretty common math. If you eat less, move more, usually equals weight loss. And so that's one thing that I started doing, is just exercising more, moving more, and eating healthier. And of course, my prayer life got better. I had people in my life that were able to hold me accountable. I found things that motivated me and inspired me. So those were very, very helpful tools that I had in my life to really help me get down on weight.
Now, your lowest, so when you started losing this weight, and I'm sure you felt confident, like, wow, this is really happening. What was the ideal weight that you got to?
I got to roughly 200 pounds, 201, 199, between there. This was one of those weights that wasn't budging too much, plateaued.
Right. But that is still very impressive. And how long did it take you? I mean, you were 799 at age 16. How long did it take you to get to that weight?
Altogether, it was between 7 and 8 years to do that.
Okay.
So it was a lot of persistence and definitely discipline to do that.
Well, kudos to you, honestly. I mean, that's really impressive. Now, life just continues to give us curveballs, right? And just when we think we got it figured out, we don't. You know, the thing is, you were cruising along. You had lost this weight. You were feeling good about yourself. You were in a relationship, and all was good. But then the day came when you started to realize, I'm starting to gain weight again. The clothes are getting tight again. And you had gained up to 80 pounds. And why was that? Because you had such great habits in place. How did you allow yourself to get to that place?
Realistically, it was compromise after compromise. It was explaining away the things I knew that I should have done. So I was comfortable, like you said, with myself, where I've become and who I've become. And at that point, you know, what's the harm in having another cookie? What's the harm of having this and that? And at that point, you know, I think you just get tired sometimes when you're doing something over and over again. It becomes second nature to you. Sometimes you just get a little tired and you allow things to come into your diet or into your life that maybe you didn't intend to have those things back into your life, but just because you feel so good, you know, we kind of explain it away. Well, just one, it's not going to hurt anything. And then one needs a two, and two needs, you get the story. So it ended up being something like that in my life. So yeah, I did balloon about 80 pounds. Actually, that was the year that I tried to fast from sugar, ironically. And so I just replaced those sugary foods with other unhealthy foods and abundance of them again, just making excuses up on why I could do this. Well, it's not a cookie, it's a piece of white bread, you know, stuff like that. But then later in the year, I ended up having more sugar and allowing it back into my diet because I already have been gaining weight and I just felt defeated.
Well, so oftentimes when we're trying to eat healthy or run a diet and we slip, you know, eat that cookie, we have that burger, we have that time, that moment by ourselves, we're like, why did I do that? You know, you kind of beat ourselves up, whether it be in our mind or out loud to ourselves. And how did you manage that? Because I imagine, you know, here you were now as a public speaker, people looking at you for guidance, but you were kind of behind the scenes, not taking your own advice.
Yeah, I had to eventually face reality. And I had to say, you know what? You need to start sharing your struggle, because I believe that the healing's in the helping. So if you can tell people that you are struggling with something, even though you've overcame it before, now it's back, and now it's back with vengeance. And if you can be real with people and transparent, I believe that people are more attracted to that. And so I used my hardship at this point, the struggle, and actually became one of my biggest strengths, because then I was able to communicate to people, you know what, we all have a tendency of falling short or missing the mark sometimes, and it's okay. It's okay to be real, and it's okay to identify that and say, you know what, I slipped up, but I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to move forward. So I embraced it, and I said, I better just get this out there. So I started talking about it more, and it actually helped me get over that and start putting my health back in the proper place again.
Well, and how do people in our audience, how do they protect themselves from maybe others sabotaging them? Not intentionally, but, you know, like in your family when you were younger, not everybody was 799 pounds. I'm sure other people ate things that you were like, oh, I wish I could eat that. Or I know your wife, you know, she was super skinny, super tiny, and she ate things that you were like, I wish I could eat that, right? How do you protect yourself from that yet still lose the weight?
Well, you got to be strategic, number one. Never enter a situation hungry, because that could be bad. Secondly, sometimes it's good to prepare your own foods, or if you're going to a picnic or a family event or a gathering, just bring your own food that's healthy and share it with other people. Let them know, hey, you can eat healthier and it can taste good. And then you have something else to fall back on in case you can't eat that cake or those cookies. So I believe in doing that, and also run your race. You are running your own race. You're not comparing yourself to other people. You're not in their shoes, and so they're not part of your life. I mean, they're not you. So you have to make sure that you're staying true to you, and doing what you can to prepare for those moments where nobody else is going to do the same thing you're doing. Even if you don't have that support, you need to make sure you stand firm and not be wavered.
That is such great advice. And I'm also curious, kind of the bully talk, right? Because when you're overweight, you're so easy to be picked on, right? And I'm sure even in you telling your story online, for as many people that were inspired and embraced it, there were probably people that sent you messages that might have seemed unpleasant. Did you have any of that reaction from people in telling your story?
For the most part, I had a lot of positive. And I did have a few negative Nancys that would, no pun intended, you're not negative Nancy.
Oh, that's painful. How about negative Natalie? Negative Natalie's. I'm kidding.
Yeah, negative Natalie. But I did have some people who would say stuff. I mean, mostly some people out of jealousy, actually, that this guy lost this much weight. Some people even would say, well, he's still fat, So I had some crude comments made to me, but you don't allow those 1 to 2 people to dictate your progress, because you made such big strides. I think to myself, dude, you made big strides, and you've impacted lots of lives. You inspired so many people. Don't let the naysayers get you off track. Keep doing what you're doing. You keep running your race.
I love that. And I imagine you had to kind of clean up some relationships, because sometimes there are toxic people, or sometimes our environment does not allow us to fly, to become the person we want to be. Did you have to release some of that?
There were certain people in my life that I had to rid my life of course. And, the truth is you love them from afar. There are people who can be damaging in your life, and you just have to accept the fact that sometimes the chemistry just isn't there. Sometimes their negativity impacts you, and so you're not strong enough right now to be around that. And so you have to just do what you have to do and cut them out in this sense. Maybe you see them less, or maybe you just have nothing to do with them for a season, or maybe never again. But yeah, you have to sometimes do that.
Well, I know you wrote a book recently, kind of your memoir of the whole thing, and it's got a super long title, but a short version is One Step, right?
Yep.
And so as we kind of round out this interview, it's really important to me that our audience kind of captures what you've gone through. But what does living full out mean to you, given your journey, your race?
It means taking one step at a time and getting to be the healthiest version of yourself that you can be.
And what should our audience know? What's the biggest takeaway? If somebody is knowing that they're overweight, if somebody is witnessing their child or their spouse gaining weight and they're like, do I say something, do I not? What is your advice for them?
You set the example and you are the positive person around them. Don't nag them, because nagging doesn't help anything. Just kind of makes people want to do the opposite. But lovingly do it, set the example, and just be their biggest supporter.
And today we're talking about being courageous. And I think, honestly, losing weight in a healthy way, it takes courage to do that. And you were so public about your story. But if there's somebody who doesn't have that same courage, that same support team, how did you find that? How did you find your inspiration? How did you muster that energy?
Like I was saying earlier, my faith has been a big, big impact on my life. And, I got connected with the church community and people who were like-minded, people who loved me for me and didn't judge me. And I ended up just getting connected to those people, and that helped me a lot.
Wow. So, Justin, I could just talk to you for hours, literally, and there's so much here in terms of how you lost your weight and how others can do the same. But I think you've given us so much to run with. So I want to thank you very much for being on the show today. And everybody check out his book, One Step. Honestly, it'll empower you and inspire you. And just thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Nancy. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. And for everybody listening, I mean, it's all about being courageous in your life. But what does that look like? That might be losing weight. It might be saying, you know what, I can have the ideal relationship. Or, yes, I know there's a ton of candidates applying for this job, but I'm just as good as them. You know, whatever that is, I want you to push the negative self-talk aside. And I want you to turn up that light inside you, that belief meter. I want you to turn that up because you are an original. You are special. And most of all, you have a voice. So share your story. Let us hear how courageous you are. Again, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, please reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We'd very much like to hear from you. And most of all, it's all about being courageous and sharing that story. Now, when we come back, we're going to be taking more calls. And I want you to think about, where do you want to be courageous in your life? I am Nancy Solari. It's the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait, hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? Pew, pew. What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Be a football
I want to be a
stadium.
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What?
What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
To be courageous in life means that you want to remember what is special and unique about you. What is your superpower, your strengths that will guide you to where you want to go? Then as you take a step forward, just know that anything is possible. When you match that, you will be able to be courageous and live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you again for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about being courageous in life. And I know sometimes that's easier said than done, right? It's hard to be honest and take that step forward not knowing if things are going to work out. But it is important that, living full out is a lifetime journey. So it's not a snap. And so when you do fall down, you just got to get right back up and say, I'm going to try again. And when you fall again, you got to get right back up and say, I'm going to try again. And people are inspired by those that try and try and try. And eventually, you're going to knock it out of the ballpark. You're going to get that dream, that goal that you're going for. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi. I had a question.
Yes, how can I help you?
My question is, when you truly love somebody but hurt them in the worst way, is there a way to find redemption to show them how you really feel and be able to make things right to get back in a relationship?
Well, are you the one that did something?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
I cheated on her with someone else.
Okay. Now, the reason why I ask you that question is because the first step is to own it. Right?
Correct.
That's the first step. Because in life, there's these taboo words, right? Cheating, bankruptcy, infidelity, infertility, right? There's all these words that we give them a lot of power. And when we give them power, that provides shame into our body, into our heart, right? So the reason why I wanted you to say it is because part of that is owning it, taking responsibility. Once you do that, and you gotta take your power back. You're not a cheater, right? I mean, do you cheat in life in everything you do? Right? No, that's not you. So in times we slip, right? We just had on our show a gentleman who lost 600 pounds, but he slipped and he made bad food choices and gained 80 more, right? In your case, you slipped and you fell into another relationship, and that's going to happen. But integrity is what we do when no one is looking. And I believe that you have the ability to have redemption. You have the ability to even get that relationship back, but it's going to be probably in a different way. Are you trying to get back in that relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to give that person as much time and as much space as possible to trust you again. And you want to again, not put it under the carpet about cheating. You want to be right up there, take responsibility, but you got to show that person, I am the man that you fell in love with. I'm actually even a better version of today than I was before. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I get that.
And trust is earned. Okay, so you're going to have to earn it back. Now, I do want to tell you one thing though. It shouldn't be a life sentence, meaning that at some point, if she can't trust you, then maybe you have to change your relationship into a friendship. Because sometimes people just can't get over something. And then you're hitting a brick wall over and over again, right? But I believe that anything is possible, and you just got to take it one step at a time and just become the man that you want to be, not for her, but for yourself. Turn a new page, live full out, and let the past be in the past. Can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to hear you say it louder. Can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's right, right? You're taking the power back. You're becoming this man you've always wanted to be. Every time you failed, anytime you cheated, anytime you made a bad decision, all in the past. Start today in writing your future. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for calling in. And for
All right,
everybody, thank you. And for everybody listening today, it is about being courageous and just being able to accept the times that we've made an error, or, acknowledge that, what could happen, the worst case scenario. But just go for it, because that is what life is about. Our entire Living Full Out family thanks you for listening today. We got Rich and Aaron and John and Riley and Shakira and so many people that just want to make sure that you are living your best life. And that starts with being courageous. And remember, if you fall, just pick yourself right back up, okay? And please feel free to listen to this show and all of our shows again by going to livingfullout.com. All the episodes will be waiting there for you, or you can go to Alexa if you have her, or the app stores, and just look for Living Full Out Radio. Most of all, we want to make sure that you're empowered, that you're stepping forward, that you believe in yourself, and most of all, that you're being courageous in life and living life full out. Thank you so much for listening, and I believe in you. Here's to you living full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.